From a very long time, people have ignored this issue around mental health. And it is said that when a child faces a trauma or abuse, his or her whole life gets scarred for life. If mental health issue is not healed, it becomes a problem for life and it can ruin you, your family, anyone who's connected to you. Mental health is almost spreading like an epidemic. And in the recent survey, it was found that 14% of India's population is actually suffering from mental health ailments, including 45.7 million suffering from depressive disorders and 49 million from anxiety disorders. And it is growing. But do not lose hope. This issue can be sorted with the right care and healing. And in today's podcast, we are bringing in a fighter who understood her issues, asked for help, and got treated as well. She is a very talented theater artist and now a trainer who teaches how to handle mental disorders using various art forms. She has also written a book of poems called Black Day White, addressing the same issues. I would like to welcome Ayesha. Hi, Ayesha. How are you?
Hi, Iti, I'm good. How are you? That was a wonderful intro. Thank you.
First, you have to tell me about yourself, what you are doing currently, and what exactly is the goal of Ayeka.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ayesha Sasikumar. I'm the founder of a company called Ayeka. And what we work with is training people. We actually don't call ourselves trainers, we call ourselves enablers. We enable people to listen to themselves, to express themselves through art forms, because art doesn't have a language or any other barrier like that. So we help people, we enable them to become the best version of themselves. And that's what we do at Ayeka. Ayeka in Marathi means listen. So our whole concept is based around listen to yourself.
So you are from
Interest wise,
Maharashtra.
Sorry?
You are from Maharashtra.
No, I'm from Kerala, but my mom is born and brought up in Bombay. So
Nice. So that's a double connect. So people who are
yes,
Marathis and all the Keralites should definitely listen to this podcast.
yes.
But there is more to it. When I was talking to you, I heard you and you talked about something which actually touched my heart, Ayesha. And
Okay.
I want to understand that you talked about that you have actually suffered through mental health disorder. When was the
Yes.
first time you realized that there is something wrong and there is something, and what were the symptoms that you saw in you that made you realize this?
Okay. So I think from when I was a child, I had a lot of idiosyncrasies and and lot of things which for a normal child would be weird, but we come from a very creative background. Both my parents are in the creative field. My brother is creative. So given our background, it was considered okay. Um, but as I grew up, when I was in college, I had these phases where I used to think I sort of passed out, or I don't know, I couldn't recollect what I did for maybe a couple of hours or sometimes half a day or so. I got married when I was 23, and I think 2 years into marriage is when I crashed. I had a complete breakdown. Until then, nobody realized that these symptoms were a actual condition because I was a very functional person. I think I was hyper functional, and after my crash, I became completely dysfunctional. Then my husband had to help me by taking me to a psychiatrist, and that's when we figured out that this is an actual condition. And honestly, that's the best day of my life because when I realized that this is a condition, it validated everything I was going through. It felt normal. I felt normal. Like, okay, people have studied this, other people have this. I'm just one amongst many. So I felt very relieved. But I realized help is not very easily available.
Yeah.
So I had a struggle there trying to find the right doctor. And
Identifying that challenge also and identifying at that point of time mental health disorder wasn't even considered anything wrong, and people
exactly.
would talk about it, people would talk about it, ignore it completely, and people are still doing that unless
Right.
famous actors actresses came up with this mental health and depression and anxiety to that
Depression. Yeah.
identified that there's some issue like that existing, and they used to just pass it out like, oh, pagal ho gayi hai. That's what people would say.
Exactly. Even recently, somebody in my family said that you look so nice. How I can't believe you're mad, in my mother tongue. So I was
Right.
like, I don't think I'm mad. Mad is not a condition, but yeah, it's very difficult. It took me years to even.
Education about it. Go back and learn more about it. What is madness actually, and what is being a mental health
I
issue?
think movies and media have played a very, very big role in showing it in the wrong light. Mad means people with their hair all fluffed up and running around and screaming and saying the wrong things. Um, that's not that's not any condition I know. Maybe a schizophrenic phase might seem like that, but other than that, I don't know any condition where people behave the way they show people behave. So initially, when I searched for doctors, also I had a huge difficulty because, like you said, it was not very common. So most things are hush hush. What you check online and what you find, it's not good enough. Let's go with that. So then I spoke to my general physician. They suggested a psychiatrist. I went there. I then went to a hypnotherapist. I went to a psychoanalyst. After some six doctor changes, I finally found my right combination: a psychiatrist and a clinical psychologist. So I wanted
The whole process itself of resonating to it and telling yourself that yes, there is something wrong with me, and then I need to go and get it corrected. That itself was very, very brave of you to go and connect with that. But how was it? How was your healing process overall, and how do you feel now after getting healed?
healing process, not very good. The initial few years, I was confused, I was frustrated. I used to take it out on my husband, on my mom.
Yeah.
It's very important to create what you call your first circle of people you trust, that they won't take advantage of you when in this extremely vulnerable moment. So they could be family, your chosen family, friends, your colleagues. So this first circle needs to be aware of what you're going through, at least if not on a at a live note, but like if you have a bad day, it's important that they know, because sometimes earlier, like I used to have suicidal tendencies. So it's good that somebody, my voice is quivering a lot, right?
It's okay.
That's something that's a side effect of the medicine, right? So it's very important to keep your first circle aware, and that is something that was really good for me. My first circle was very, very strong, and
What do you mean
my
by first circle? It is very important for the listeners. Probably some people would be going through this situation.
okay,
So, what exactly is your first circle? Whom would you consider?
my first circle was my mom, my
Yeah,
husband,
yeah.
my two of my friends from theater, a classmate of mine. These were people, and a couple of others. These were people that I used to update on a very regular basis as to how I'm feeling. I'd gone all haywire at that point, and I decided I want to stay alone and figure this stuff out for myself, which is not a very healthy thing. It's important that you stay with somebody, because as much as you can, because sometimes you're not in control of how you feel. So I educated my first circle about what this is. Some of them came with me and met my doctor to understand what it is like to go through this. And I have a couple of conditions, not just bipolar. I have two, three other conditions as well. So it was chaotic in my head. The support for one, as in medical support for one, would cause something else, and side effects and weight gain, and that would lead to you having low self confidence. It was just
A lot of
extremely
heavy medication.
chaotic and frustrating.
Yeah.
Now
Does
it's
first
better.
circle
Now
listeners have
I'm
some role in it? I mean, they have to check back with you, or
so yes, on a daily basis they check how I'm doing. But my husband and my mom, I kept them aware on a hourly, or say at least three times a day, is to tell them how I'm feeling. Only initially. Later, I was able to. So even now, when there's a trigger and I react emotionally, I take a pause. I try to think about what happened and what went wrong, and then I respond, because reacting is a very it doesn't lead to anything. The conversation becomes quite dead over there, and the situation can get worse in my head if I react, because anxiety will build up, and then overthinking will happen, and then that just leads to more and more panic.
Yes.
So it's very important to keep your first circle aware of what's happening. Journaling really helps. So um, it sounded very stupid to me when it was first suggested, like sit down and do what, dear diary, this was my day, like. But that's not how journaling is done. There is a format to it, and even if you don't follow the format, you can sort of write down how your day was and sort of figure out what you could have done better, what happened, what went wrong, what went nice. Journaling helps. I had something called a totem. So there were these things that people I cared about gave me, like a keychain,
Yeah.
my card from many things that I tied together and put it on a chain. So
Yeah.
whenever I thought I'm going out of, I'm becoming disassociative, I would just hold it. And then that would help me calm down. Then there's the rule of five. You look at five things, I think, touch four things, and there is a rule of five. You can do that either that, or you keep a totem for yourself, or something that grounds you.
Something that grounds you.
So when you have an episode, that's something that's very important. And now I'm in control, which is a huge thing for me. Like 10 years back, if somebody had said, you won't be like this, I would have been surprised. But now I'm here where I know I'm in control. And when I see younger people going through the same problems, I feel like reaching out and saying, you know what, it's okay, things get better.
You're doing a wonderful job right now. First of all, thanks for giving all the tips about totem, about journaling, about keeping something that keeps you grounded. It really helps. And if you, as a listener, if you are going through any of these symptoms, please do follow what Ayesha is talking about. She's not just uh, has gone through all these things. Now she's actually changing life. Now I want to talk about Ayeka and how you are
Okay.
taking things up. I mean, it was sounds so interesting that changing lives through art forms and training people on soft skills with art forms. How do you do this?
So, from childhood, we've learned a lot of art forms, as in knowingly, unknowingly, wantingly. We were just pushed into whatever there was. So, from sports to theater to dance to music to mridangam, we learned it all. And in my life, when conditions came that were really tough, I think art is something I turned to. Even after I had my bipolar crash, I put my whole everything, energy, and everything into theater, and it really helped me. I dance, which is something I'm extremely passionate about. So these were the things that I turned to, and I could see the difference. I could see the difference, not just my family. So I realized my partner is a um, storyteller and a theater art activist herself. I'm so sorry. And so we joined together and we realized that it is possible for us to take elements of these different art forms, create programs where people can express themselves. They can express things that they themselves don't know they are holding within. We had one episode of an activity after which a guy came and told us, I need counseling, I need help. I myself didn't know I had so much anger issues. So it's I think Ayeka is doing something that is very, very essential right now. It's helping people figure out.
What things are there apart from anger issues that you can help with in Ayeka?
Um, Using our art forms,
Yeah,
anything we do regular corporate training as well,
yeah.
leadership training, conflict management, team building. We do our regular training as well for, well, that's the bread and the butter. On the other side, we have these mental health seminars that we conduct. We have pop-up chairs where we sit up and have these meetings. During COVID, for 2.5 years, when you couldn't have any physical activity, we used to conduct them online. So there was this thing called Ankahi Baatein, which was for females, only for women to come and express how they're feeling, and we would have fun things like tea time. So everyone had to make a snack and something with tea, and then share a story about themselves or how they're dealing with what they're going through. And the next time we would go back to them and see, has it helped? Has any technique that we came up with?
resonate so much with Asmee right now, because Asmee is also about untold stories of women. So unkahi batein is what we are also talking about right now.
When I told my partner, that was her exact reaction. It's like untold stories. That's our head. That's our name.
Yeah, that's true. So now that the Unkahi Bate is coming out, I would also like to understand from you, what were your challenges? I mean, when you were actually coming out with these issues, I'm sure that not everyone understands this very clearly. And you had your own pillar of support that you told me about. So would you like to talk about that, your challenges, and how you were actually able to overcome all that?
To a great extent, the challenges I overcame because of the upbringing I had. We were not allowed to give up at the drop of a hat. When you're passionate about something, and my family is very passionate about a lot of things. So when you're passionate about something, you give your all. And if you don't see results, it doesn't mean you take a back seat and then sit there. अरे मैंने तो try कर दिया. No. So we kept trying, my partner and I kept trying at spreading awareness, creating these spaces where it's safe for people to talk. That was the biggest hassle. Making people acknowledge that they need help. That
Yeah,
was our biggest hassle. They would say, "हाँ थोड़ा stress है, but चलता है. Everyone's life is like this." But थोड़ा stress and a actual medical condition are very different. And what is funny is a lot of people use medical condition terms like "I'm depressed" when they're just sad.
they're just
And a
sad.
lot of depressed people do not give themselves credit for having,
This
you
is
know,
interesting.
for
What
fighting an
would it
actual condition.
be? You can tell me that being sad and being depressed, what could be the
So,
difference? How can people identify that?
so there are 11 conditions. You will find them online. I don't think I will mention them. And if I get one wrong, I don't want to get into that. So there are these 11 symptoms which you should have continuously for 3 months, or it should be in cycles that are repetitive. Otherwise, it's not depression. Otherwise, it's probably sadness. It's circumstantial. It could be for multiple reasons. It could even be hormonal. But for it to be considered clinical depression, it has to be there for a period of time, and these symptoms have to be there. So it's very sad when you hear somebody who missed a movie or couldn't go somewhere say, "I'm so depressed. Yeah, I just couldn't catch that movie." It's Depression is very very difficult to go through. Last year I went through a huge. mm Extremely bad depression for a huge amount of time. I was in the hospital for a while. And when you make a call and you tell somebody, they're like, "Why did you go to the hospital?" I mean, it's just depression. No, it's very difficult for you to make people understand that mental health is something that's serious. It's as serious as if you have a physical health condition. Getting people to accept that was our biggest hassle.
Yeah, I was just writing one of the podcast, and I wrote exactly that like you get cold and fever, you need to administer medicine for that, and you cannot leave it
Yes,
untreated. Uh, like that, mental health issues are exactly the same. You cannot leave it open, otherwise you will face a challenge with that.
yes.
Really.
Ayeka does work with underprivileged schools, and this is
Wow.
something that we're trying to teach children to understand and accept, even in places like Patna, Ahmedabad. The very, very underprivileged children, they were able to understand us better, and they said, "Oh my God, I think my Masi has this, or I think I know someone who's going through similar things, so maybe they need help." I think educating children is the best way forward.
So
The next
despite
generation.
strata, gender, age, it can happen to anyone, right?
Yes, yes.
That's amazing.
And
Uh,
knowing that or thinking that I'm very strong, मुझे कुछ नहीं होगा, that's not the right way to go about it. The strongest people could be going through battles we have no idea about. So many actors, so many
I don't
singers,
think
you
so. I
might
don't
seem
think it has
functional.
anything to do with the strength of your mind or strength of feeling depressed and being sad, and then getting caught to that those typical symptoms where you are actually declared clinically depressed person. This is, I think, related to the traumas of your life, the life experiences, and what you have gone through and what is going on in your mind.
Also, there is a chemical imbalance that
Mental imbalance.
is involved in this.
Absolutely.
And it's not just depression, even the other extreme, because I have bipolar. I go through depression and then I switch to mania. So even that part is not easily understood.
Not easily understood.
So there needs to be a lot of education happening around this topic.
Absolutely.
Places where you can talk, spaces which are safe, seminars, I don't know, multimedia, social media, whatever. People need to be educated.
Lot of times people talk about this postpartum depression also, post pregnancy depression, that a lot of females go through, which is untreated, and then they
Yes,
turn into something else after becoming moms, and people are still
yes,
clueless what happened to her after her pregnancy, after her uh, childbirth. There's a different person we are seeing, she's not the same.
correct,
And I mean, it's crazy now to understand that why things go haywire. But very
right.
clearly, you have pointed out to the right um, thing, and thank you so much for sharing so much about depression and mental health disorder. A lot of people still do not know much about it, but stay there. There is some interesting section coming up for you shortly. We have
Okay.
rapid fire with Ayesha coming. So we would like to know more about you, Ayesha, and we will do a
Okay.
quick chat of rapid fire now. And
Okay.
okay, so these are quick questions with quick answers. Okay,
Sure.
let me ask you that: what will Ayesha do if you're not working?
Right.
Right, you write a lot. Journals.
Yeah. No books. I'm working on three stories, and all three have been paused at some random position. I never get time or mind space to work on them.
No problem. And what's your passion?
Dancing and theater.
Dancing and theater. Yeah, of course. Theater is something that you do, and dancing you don't. And this is interesting. And if you can take one person on a date, that would be.
Okay, see, this will sound controversial because I'm from the 80s and Shah Rukh Khan was very popular then. So it's not because he's got puppy eyes or the guru of love, it's because he has an amazing sense of humor. And I'd love to take him out and just laugh through a date.
I got you. I'm sure that a lot of women right now must be there. I want to take Shah Rukh Khan out. So you have many sisters as listeners. Nevertheless, what is storytelling for you?
Uh, Life. Storytelling, I guess, is uh, what is storytelling? Storytelling for me is life. It's just jotting down everything that you go through. It's the most important. It's the most natural thing that comes to a person.
Absolutely.
So documenting life. I guess storytelling is documenting life.
Absolutely. And the one very interesting thing, because Asmee is all about financial independence of women, and that is what we keep on advocating. Why should women work?
So there are many times people are stuck in situations where the decisions they make are based on their financial situation. Either they are dependent on somebody or for multiple reasons. So I believe people should work, not just women, even men, but yeah, mostly women need to work so that they have that financial independence to take a decision that they want, not that they are stuck in or not that they have to because of being dependent on someone else.
So
So it's
true.
very important.
So
Yeah.
important for women to work. And um, in the last, before we end the whole session, I would like to hear from you your perspective on life.
Hmm. Okay. Life is love. I love life, which is very weird because I did have a lot of suicidal thoughts at one point of time, but they have nothing to do with my condition or situation. It's just uh, it's because of my health. Not, I mean, it's because of
Repeat.
life for me is love. Um, love. I love life. I love the concept. You live only once, so that YOLO thing. It's love is life is passion. Um, everything I do, I think I do it with a lot of passion. Theater, storytelling, writing. I used to be a biker. Used to make movies. Everything. I'm very passionate about what we do. So because Ayeka, I'm very passionate about Ayeka. So life is love, passion, and yes, compassion. It rhymes, but
Person who once thought about losing it all at a go. And
yes,
this
yes,
is
quite
impressive.
contradictory.
Yeah, this is absolutely impressive. How you have turned things around, how you have made some impressive moves, and now you're the advocate of mental health disorders. This is the most impressive and the most impressive achievement that one can do. And you know what? I was
Thank you
watching
so
this
much.
movie called as 12 Fail recently, and in the end, this person talks about that I have come up till here without oxygen, and I am more deserving than anyone else. I can quickly relate it to you because you are the one
Okay,
who come all the way without any support or life oxygen, and now you have made it so big. So you are more deserving and more of an achiever than anyone else could be. And hats
thank
off to
you
you
so much.
for what
Thank
you.
you. That's so sweet.
So in the
But
end,
I've been lucky. I'm sorry. I've been lucky. I have family and friends that are very supportive. Not my entire family, but some people who've taken the effort to read out, and friends and my partner now. They are all extremely supportive.
absolutely, absolutely, Aisha. And I'm glad that you found the right people around you. And
Yes,
in the end,
me too.
I would like to just recap saying that the challenges are not going to end till you have identified the problem. And once you have identified that you have the anxiety and depression, that is just the start from there. And you need to ask for that support. You need to ask and talk to the right people who are close to you, get that additional help. Be extremely careful of whom you are asking and talking to. That first circle that you have formed, that needs to be the person who understands what it will take you to get involved in this, because any kind of trigger, any kind of talk that they have had with you can trigger it to a different level altogether. So be
Right.
mindful of what and how you are living. Have a healthy mindset. Needless to say that at Asmee, we also support a lot of domestic violence victims, and once they are out of their mental trauma, they go through a complete, work of um, they go through complete work of financial independence, and we try to create women entrepreneurs and career makers out of those domestic violence victims. That's what
That's
our
awesome.
initiative and project Samantha is into. So you can support us. Please give us donations or share your love. Keep listening to us on YouTube and on Spotify. And this is me, Iti, signing off from Asmi, the Untold Stories of.